Hi, it's Anne here, and today's video is my 6th update for my Pan That palette for 2023. So how I'm doing this project is I have an eyeshadow palette filled with single eyeshadows that I pulled that I am working on all year long. I am throwing in new shadows here and there and mixing up one or two, but for the most part, these have been steady for the year. And then every quarter I'm picking a face palette or two and I'm working on them. So this quarter I've been working on these two palettes, the ABH Glow Kit palette in Sundit and this Jouer Cheek Duo palette. I'm going to start with the Jouer palette first. I'm going to be very careful opening it because my one my one shade, this guy, he's in rough shape. I'm just going to put the photo up. I think after, I kind of want to just leave it for now. But I think after this quarter, I'm just going to fully repress this blush shade. I think I said shadow earlier. Did I say shadow? Maybe I said shade. Anyway, there are two blush shades in this. I don't even want to flip it over. Flip it over quickly. One is called Terracotta Sands. The other is Hot Coral. I've been using Hot Coral quite a bit. I feel like it's just really working with a lot of the looks that I'm wearing. It's an easy blush to wear. It's a great everyday blush. The other blush is definitely a bit more intense. The other one is a bit more like a bronzer type blush. It's one that I can sort of throw in. I actually have used it as a bit of a bronzer blush, like kind of just all over, and it works really nice as well. But it's definitely very like reddish toned, and I'm finding whenever I dye my hair, like especially cool tones, like with the purple, it gets harder and harder to use some of the warm tone products. I talked about that last year when I had the really, I had very cool tone purple hair, especially early on last year, and I just really didn't want to work with warm tones. So it's getting difficult to use some of the warm tones. Also, I'm already mentally feeling the transition away from some of the really summery shades, like those really warm, like, I know warm tones work for the fall too, but I feel like they're different warm tones, and I don't know the difference. More orangey warm tones compared to like more bronzy warm tones in the summer. That's how my brain's working right now. Anyway, so yeah, this does have pretty good progress. I feel like this past month. Last month it was 105.89 grams. It's now 105.56 grams. That's a difference of 0.33 grams. So again, this will stay in for 1 month, one more month, and then the next update that I do, the face palettes are going to get swapped out for something new for the last quarter of the year. I can't believe it's going to be the last quarter of the year. And the other palette that I'm working on is the ABH Glow Kit in Sundit. Visually, again, I'll put the photo up. Visually, you're not going to see a whole lot from the top. It really doesn't look like there's a whole lot going on. I can definitely see a dip in Summer and Moonstone, or like feel a dip. They're small, but they're there. The other two really don't have a whole lot. I have to weigh each one of these individually because they're too heavy. The whole palette as a whole is too heavy to weigh together. So we're going to start off here with bronzed. Last month it was 12.77 grams. It's now 12.74 grams. That's a difference of 0.03 grams. Next is Summer. Last month it was 12.38 grams. It's now 12.33 grams. So that's a difference of 0.05 grams. Then we have Moonstone here. I feel like I mix these two a lot. I wear this one on its own. I rarely wear this one on its own. But I do wear this one on its own, Moonstone. Last month it was 12.22 grams. It's now 12.16 grams. That's a difference of 0.06 grams. And the last shade here is Tourmaline. I use this on and off. It's one of those shades that I really like, but sometimes I'm not sure, like, if it looks good in person or not. I feel like it looks good when I put it on, but I'm always kind of concerned. It's a bit of a different shade that maybe it doesn't look as nice as I think it does in person. I don't know. It's hard to tell. You can't see yourself walking out in the real life, in the real world. Even taking photos is not the same. But I do really like this shade as an eyeshadow. So last month it was 12.98 grams. It's now 12.96 grams. So that's a difference of 0.02 grams. In total, the past month for this palette, I used 0.16 grams. So for a highlight palette, I feel like that's pretty good. I have been trying to focus on this one a little bit more, knowing that like it's got a limited time, and I do feel like these are super intense. So I prefer to wear these. I generally don't wear these to the office, but sometimes I do. Sometimes, again, like these two shades, I feel like I can make them work, but I prefer to wear them like outside of the office because it's a bit more of an intense. They're more of an intense what do you call it, highlight. And I also have a highlight in my Project Pan, which kind of competes with this, but the highlight in my Project Pan is a bit more subtle, so it's easier to wear for like in the office. I hope that makes sense. Makes sense to me. So next up is the eyeshadow palette. So we got a lot going on in this, but not really a whole lot of difference. A lot going on, meaning a lot of things. I did add a shade to this that I did not mention in my last update because I added it after that. So I'll talk about that first, I guess. That's that shade right here in the middle. If you watched my how to repress a shadow video, that was in this video. So I can pop up the photo from then because that was right after I repressed it. It's almost, you can see it's almost done. This was the shade Marzipan from the Too Faced Chocolate Bar palette. I'm really sad that I didn't actually finish that shade in my Project Pan last year. I think it was last year. And because it was so close, like it was just so close to being done, and it would have been satisfying to have had that finished as part of the palette, because I don't think I actually finished any single pan fully in that project. But yeah, this one, I could have had it finished by now, but I've just been taking my time with it, so I think I will finish it. I shouldn't say think. I know I'll have this finished by the next update, so that'll be another shadow that's completely done. Just for a weight reference, when I put it in, it was 1 gram, and it is now 0.97 grams. So that's a difference of 0.03 grams. Let's kind of just work our way through the shadows. So the white one last month was 1.24 grams. It's now 1.23 grams. That is a difference of 0.01 grams. This pink one's going a little slower. I need to kind of pick this one up again. Last month it was 1.03 grams. It's now 1.01 grams. That's a difference of 0.02 grams. This is the shade I've been heavily focusing on. I do really want to finish this one, and I think I can. Last month it was 1.22 grams. It's now 1.14 grams. So that's a difference of 0.08 grams. Next up is this guy. So I do have this on my eyes today. These two are both from the NYX Warm Neutrals palette. These are from Color Workshop palettes. This one last month was 1.2 grams. It's now 1.17 grams. So that is a difference of 0.03 grams. Then I have these two shades that I added from the Carly Bible Beach Deluxe palette. And I probably will pull these two out after this round because I really slowed down on using them, and I don't see myself really using them a whole lot after this update. But I also feel like I'm kind of too lazy right now to figure out what I want to put in. So I'm just going to keep them in there and see how it goes. So this, what I call like the sparkly pinky orange shade, it was 1.13 grams. It's now 1.29 grams. That's a difference of 0.02 grams. And then this matte orangey brown shade was 1.53 grams. It's now 1.52 grams. That's a difference of 0.01 grams. Then I did add these two in. I messed up the last video that I filmed about quads. I got two quads mushed together in my head. I had two Maybelline quads that were super old. One was called Designer Chocolates, and I think this one was called like Charcoal something. And when I look online for the Maybelline quads, the ones that I have are so old that they don't even have that version in the photos. Like they changed, the quads that I had 4 equally sized squares or shadows, and the quad photos that I find online are like 3, like there's a long one at the bottom, I think a bigger one on the side, and then 2 smaller ones. I can't remember, but it's a little, no, that's too many. No, 1, 2, 3, 4, that's 4. They're different, like, what I'm trying to say is it's a hella old shadow. And I got the two quads mixed up. The Designer Chocolates quad I loved, and I kept the one shade from it that was like a super unique shade that I don't have anything else like, but it's so old. Actually, maybe I'll throw that in. That's actually a good idea. Maybe I'll throw that in. We'll see. So anyway, this gray shade right here, last month was 3.54 grams. It's now 3.53 grams. Did I say that right? 3.54, 3.53. Difference of 0.01. Numbers are starting to blend in my head. And then the shade here is from a Rimmel palette. I'm not sure if it was from the Spice edition or the Crimson edition, but from one of them. I want to say, actually, I have no idea. I was going to say, I think it's from Spice, but then I'm like, oh, maybe it's from Crimson. I have no idea. Last month, this was 2.12 grams. It's now 2.1 grams. That's a difference of 0.02 grams. So again, there's progress. I am moving along, but I feel like it's gone a little bit slower. At least it's maybe not as exciting as some previous months. I feel like I've had some really big changes in previous months. But this past month I haven't. These two shades, sorry, I'm not ignoring these two shades. They're just not part of the project pan. I just keep throwing in shades as I go along. This one is from Cleona, like this pink one is from Cleona. And then this one I think is from that BoxyCharm Blink. I think there was 5 shades in that. Yeah. So yeah, I just kind of keep throwing random shades to play with. Every couple of weeks or so I throw in a shade or two. So yeah. I can't remember if I said I put the side-by-side up, but I'll put the side-by-side up if I have not done that yet, so you can see the difference. It's working well for me. Like I said, I'm wearing that one, the deeper brown shade, on my eyes today, and then the lid color is Rush Hour from the BH Cosmetics Lost in Los Angeles palette. I forgot about that palette, and I was watching, I think Misty Pans was working on that in a level, I don't know if it was a level up or a one of our project pans, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's a great summer palette, and like we're getting close to end of summer, and I said pulled it out last week. I'm like, oh my god, I want to use it before end of summer. So I've been playing with that, and I've been playing with the Odin's Eye palette. I pulled out, well, I've just put it away. I had the Violet Voss Flamingo palette out for a while, so I've been using a lot of other shadows over the summer, so this kind of has slowed down a little bit. But I think it'll pick up again. I think I'll definitely pick up, especially using these shades again as I go forward. So yeah, that is it. A nice, quick, hopefully quick-ish update on my Pan That palette for 2023. If you like this video, feel free to give it a little thumbs up down below. And if you haven't already, I'd love it if you subscribe to my channel here in Toronto, Canada. I hope you're doing well, and I'll see you sometime soon. Bye.